Hello. This presentation is designed to introduce you to the most popular ways to access routers so they can be configured. We will also explain how to maintain configurations in the different types of router memory. It is important that you know how to access routers because accessing a router is the first step toward configuring it. This presentation will focus on accessing Cisco Integrated Services Routers, or ISRs. There are many ways to access and configure a router, each of which can be classified as in-band or out-of-band management. When using in-band management, commands are sent from a computer, over a network, and enter the router through one of its network interfaces, a serial or Ethernet port, for example. When using out-of-band management, configuration commands are sent from a directly connected computer to the console port of the router. The console port is not a network interface. It does not carry network traffic. When a router is first deployed, networking parameters have not yet been configured. Therefore, the router cannot communicate through its network interfaces. As a result, in-band management is not an option for the first-time configuration of the router. When unpacking a new Cisco router, you will find an RJ45 to DB9 console cable. This cable provides the physical link between the router and the computer that you are using to configure it. The DB9 side of the cable is connected to the serial port of your computer, and the RJ45 side is connected to the console port of the router. After the physical connection is made, a console session is established by using terminal emulation software such as HyperTerminal. This process is often referred to as consoling in. Using the settings in this slide will allow you to create a logical link to the router and access the Cisco Command Line Interface, or CLI. After access to the CLI has been established, the networker is able to configure the various parameters necessary to bring the router to a fully functional state. As stated earlier, another way to access and configure a router is through in-band management. After IP addresses have been applied to network interfaces, and those interfaces are enabled, networkers can access the router via those interfaces. This is convenient for remotely configuring routers. For example, when router configurations need to be altered or maintained, a network engineer can sit in his or her office and use Telnet or SSH client software to access and configure the router over the network. This type of management negates the need to be in close proximity to the device being configured. One in-band management tool that is available for many Cisco routers is Security Device Manager, or SDM, and SDM Express. This software provides an intuitive, graphical user interface that allows networkers to configure both common and advanced security features. SDM Express allows non-expert users to quickly configure both LAN and WAN connectivity, while SDM allows more advanced users to configure features such as firewalls and virtual private networks. SDM is used through a web browser interface using HTTP. Now that we know some different ways to configure a router, let's look at the different types of memory that store the configurations. As a router is configured, its information is stored in random access memory, or RAM. A key feature of RAM is that its content is lost when the router is powered down. Therefore, after a configuration has been completed, it must be saved to non-volatile RAM, or NVRAM. Information in NVRAM remains intact even when the device is powered down. Before a configuration is copied into NVRAM, it is called the running configuration. After it is copied into NVRAM, it is known as the startup configuration. Each time the router is started, the startup configuration in NVRAM is copied into RAM where it becomes operational as the running configuration. Any changes that are made to the running configuration immediately take effect. When using a graphical user interface, configurations can be saved with the touch of a button. When using the CLI, the operator must type specific commands to save the configuration. As you can see, it is important to know the different methods that can be used to access a Cisco router. As you continue to study routers, you will learn to apply IP addresses to interfaces, enable routing protocols, implement basic security, and more. Knowing the information presented here will allow you to interface with the router in order to begin those configurations. It is critical that you study and practice the many facets of device configuration, because doing so will allow you to quickly deploy, fine-tune, and troubleshoot your networks.